This is a clip from The Ancient Gift. The full episode is available free on all podcast platforms. You can click the link in the description and access the full episode now.
Yeah, I've read with regular playing cards too. People don't, if you look at a tarot deck and you look at a regular playing card deck, they're basically the same thing. You have four suits, you have the Arcana cards, which are the royals, and you just have to know what clubs, spades, hearts, and yeah. So it's interesting.
Yep.
So do you find that your intuitive abilities have sharpened quite a bit since you've been practicing, and do you read for people like professionally now, or what do you do? How do you get people to know about you, and how do you go about reading tarot?
So I would say that it's possible that my intuitive gifts have been heightened with tarot. It's kind of hard to say because I've always been very intuitive. I've been able to have conversations with people after 5 minutes and kind of get the vibe and what's going on inside, So it's not something that I ever really needed. But I think for me, it's just more of realizing how intuitive I am. So, as I progress with tarot, or have progressed in the past, I notice like I hear things, I see things in my mind's eye. I get downloads of what the cards are telling me. Mm-hmm. And then when I speak it to the person, they'll confirm it and all that. And that just makes me more aware that I actually am more in tune than I realized. So I don't know if it has heightened it. I think it's just made me more comfortable with it and, more confident within that.
I think like any muscle, if you're intuitive, everybody does have intuitive abilities. We just depends on our upbringing, depends on our environment, depends on our belief systems. It's whether we embrace those abilities and whether we understand that, like any muscle, if you exercise it and practice, you strengthen it.
Absolutely.
So I think for you, like we talked before we started going on air here, and I'm an intuitive medium. I don't know, psychic, whatever and there's so many labels. I don't even know. Audio sentient, audio,
clairvoyant.
Yes.
All kinds
of good stuff. So, I'm a little brain dead today because I've been working on other podcasts all day. So sorry about that.
No worries.
So it's one of those things that like I find for myself, and maybe you can relate, like once you get into that zone and you have like, you've acknowledged it, you've accepted it, which is a huge thing, and you embrace it, then like, and you're in that zone, man, information just comes at you like rapid fire. And sometimes it comes in so fast, furious, and strongly that you have to like say, well, like slow down a little bit. Because I do auto writing. So I'm like, wait, I can only write
right.
First of it, I can only write so fast. I'm trying to write it all down. That's how anyway, but so yeah, I find it's interesting, and I think the more we embrace our abilities and that we are connected, as I said in another podcast I did today, I saw so much that you and me and other people like us are so special. It's just that our abilities gives us sight into other realms or dimensions or places, whatever you want to call that, where energy lives, where energy is stored. And so we just have the ability to kind of like pull out data and information, whether it's a word or a symbol or a color or a past loved one who's passed on. It's just that ability to kind of like, it's almost like you seeing a code and being able to decipher it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I get you. I hear you. And I honestly, as intuitive right now, I'm going to tell you, I actually think you're a natural healer. Have you been told that before?
I knew that because when I first started to get really deep into spirituality, when I get into stuff, I go in hard. Mm-hmm. And so, everything happens for a reason. It's kind of a long story, which got me into spirituality. Not that long, but, we can do that another time if you want. But I kind of lost my train of thought because I started thinking about how I got into spirituality. Okay. I remember. So I started meditating a lot. Like my longest meditation was 8 hours. And of course I'd get up, use the bathroom, and then get a drink of water, come back down and just keep going. And I was floating. It was to where I was starting to
Out of body.
Kind of like my soul would go out of body a lot. Yeah. And I'd have to pull it back in sometimes because it would just, I could feel my soul hover. I'd be on the bed with all my crystals on my chakras, and I'd start to feel my spirit right here. And it would just kind of be like moving up and down. And eventually I'd have to be like, all right, you need to get back in here and don't go too far away.
I've actually been taken out of my body and right up. And I'm like, whoa. And my guys are like, you need to practice. And I'm like, what do you mean I need to practice? And it's you heard those dreams where you're flying, where you're flying and you're uncertain to how you're flying because you're looking down and you see the ground underneath you. You know, that's how it felt like I was floating. I could see everything on the bottom. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to be getting back to my body? Like I was freaking out. Like,
right.
Practice. And I'm like, I want to go. So I rolled my back and then I did like 3 times. It was incredible though.
Yeah, it's a really cool experience, and it's scary but the cool thing is we have a cord attached to us, to our body. So we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to fly off, but it does feel like that. It feels like that for sure. Yeah. So I started to, when I started meditating, I was chanting a lot. I was, what else was I doing? I was doing a lot of Reiki, attunement, meditations. And the first time I did a Reiki attunement meditation, because I've always felt like a healer. I was a personal trainer for a long time. I went to school for radiology. Like I've always been into the body and energy. I've always been into energy. And so I knew I had and I got really into crystals in the beginning too. So I'm already like, yeah, all this energy and healing, right? So that was kind of natural for me. And when I did my first Reiki attunement, my hands started to get really hot, really, really, really red. And it felt like tiny little rubber bands were flicking on my hands, just like thousands of them on my hands. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? And so I was like, okay, this is cool. And so I just kept going with it. And I got myself a massage table and I started practicing on friends. And then I started learning, why can't I think of it? Not acupressure. So I would help my friends with bad backs or bad hips, and I do acupressure. I have a bad wrist though, so it's kind of difficult. You're really not supposed to push hard anyways. But so I do think I have a healing gift as well.